What I'm going to talk about is issues relating to change. And I'm very interested in change in landscapes. I'm very interested in change in urban settings and suburban settings and rural settings. And we've seen amazing changes over the course of geologic time. I'm a geologist. I study deep time. But one of the things that's been very clear to me as I study carefully the geological record, and the geological record really gives us what I call the rearview mirror. We have the rearview mirror. My discipline can see back in time more clearly than most, because we study the systems that record past environments, past climates. We study the record of the climate in things like rock and ice. I'll show you a couple of pictures of it. But it's my discipline that really knows a lot about what has gone on in the past. And as we look into the future, we're all trying to predict what the world's going to be like. You guys are going to march out there saving the amphibians. But what's it going to be like? And how is it going to change? And what are some of the patterns and processes that are actively influencing change? And then, most importantly, how can you mitigate the changes? So one way to mitigate the change is to lift up that amphibian from one side of the road to the other. That's you're helping that amphibian survive. But there's other ways that you can affect change. You can affect change through the strategies that you live your life, through where you get your food. You guys eat local food here. You know that you raise it here. Putney is the shining light in this new world of understanding how to live more energy comfortably on the landscape. The new building we built over there is very green. You all know that. And we're going to be facing lots of challenges associated with energy use, resource use, water use, biodiversity. You're going to see these changes and challenges throughout your whole lives. And the question really is, as you launch yourselves into your academic careers, you're going to leave Putney, you're going to go to college, you're going to have choices what your major is, you're going to have career choices to make, and you are going to be agents of change. You're going to leave this wonderful book out here, and you're going to have a wonderful perspective given to you by your colleagues, your classmates, your teachers, and staff here at the school, and you're going to be leaving this hilltop, and you're going to be carrying those seeds of change with you, and you're going to be living in an environment that's going to be challenging issues of population, overpopulation, jobs, where you find jobs. The population of the world has doubled since I sat on the bench here at Putney. There's twice as many people out there. There's 7 billion plus people. They all want stuff. They'd love to have a microphone. They'd love to have a light shining on them. They'd love to have, 2 or 3 square meals a day. And there's 7 plus billion of them. And one of your challenges is going to be, how do you accommodate all those people? How do you allow them to enjoy the fruits of our civilization? And if they don't enjoy the fruits of the civilization, they're likely to tear things apart. So you're going to live in a time of instability. We're already seeing it right now. We're seeing migration. We're seeing environmental refugees. I live in Colorado. There are people coming from North Africa. There are people coming from East Africa. There are people coming from Asia. And they're coming to Colorado because of a better lifestyle. So I'm going to quickly pound through a bunch of images because I'm a slave to PowerPoint. I apologize for my abject situation. What on earth is happening? Geologists study the Earth. And I studied the Earth here. In fact, I went to school in Putney, then I went up to Hanover, New Hampshire. One of the great things about studying the Earth is that you learn by looking. And this is an anteater crossing the ground. And here's the anteater. And you can check the anteater. It's going to come. Check the anteater out. He's not even for scale. He's about 6.5 centimeters long. But he's on a piece of striated granite. And that's up just north of here. And why is that granite striated? Yeah, I'm hearing it from you. You should all cotton on. The glacier was here. The ice covered the hill. Putney was underneath a kilometer of ice. Not that long ago, geologically. And that ice polished the ground. Polished the ground. You can feel it. It's as smooth as a baby's butt. And I've had 2 children, and I know where my feet are smooth to their butts. And the granite of New Hampshire and Vermont is in many places as smooth as polished because of this ice polishing phenomenon. And when I was an undergraduate student, we didn't know why the ice had been there. We didn't understand the ice ages. So we went to the geological record and we read the pages of the book. And here's the self-same sheep little Andy. Don't lose him. He's wandering around somewhere. Don't walk out with that Andy. This is Hans Eskin showed me this a few years ago. It's down in Route 5, just down the hill here. And those are laminated sediments associated with an old glacial lake that was in the Connecticut River Valley. And those sediments are layers, as you can see. And there's a dark layer and a pale layer, it's a little bit bleached on the screen, but they represent annual cycles. They're called barbs, lake sediment deposit. So we have counted those layers, we've studied those layers in this environment and many others. And we've put together records. In the case, this is from the deep ocean. We've taken drill core from the deep ocean, and you can see the laminated nature of it there on the right-hand side of the screen. We've also very famously looked at ice. Let me just quickly show you collecting the ice and then looking at the ice. And the ice has layers in it as well, and these are also annual layers. And they store the ice out in Colorado and Denver and in other places. We have 15 kilometers of ice stored in Denver, and it's in a place where it's refrigerated, and graduate students study it. And the ice is kept at minus 40 degrees. And minus 40 C and minus 40 F.
Same.
Yeah. So, and minus 40 is pretty cold, and there's a bunch of jackets there at the door of this thing, and I teach classes with the Colorado School of Mines, and there's a lot of girls in classes now, and they're very macho. These are geophysics students. So I take these geophysics students, and they're these macho alpha ladies. And I say, well, there's a jacket there, you might want to wear a jacket because it's minus 40. And they say, we're tough. And the guys all say, Jesus, they're tough. Well, we're tough too. So they all say they're tough. We get into the place, and it's minus 40 degrees. And it gets their full attention. And then there was a movie called The Flight of the Penguins. Something like that. And these kids get in there, and it's like this pile of penguins that they cluster right together, and the one in the outside is trying to get into the middle, and the one in the middle is trying to stay in the middle, and it's minus 40 degrees, and we're looking at the ice. They put it on the light table so they shine light through the ice, and you can look and you can see these layers. And the graduate students are in there counting the layers, because it's annual cycles, they've got to count the layers. And this is ice in Greenland, and it's down about a mile down in Greenland. And Greenland is relatively near Iceland. Iceland had a series of volcanic eruptions. We know the dates of the volcanic eruptions in Iceland because it's written down in the records. The ash fell in Greenland. So we know some of the ages of some of the ice. And the students are counting the layers. And we know the answer, at least some of the answers. So the students are counting the layers, and if they miscount, they have to stay in the refrigerator and keep recounting. It's a tricky business. After you counted 5,000 whatever layers, you don't want to miscount just because. So these layers have been counted very carefully. It's a wonderful thing. We stand on the shoulders of the labor of many graduate students who've given their careers to understanding these layers. We're also getting layers now out of caves. We're getting, it turns out that if you go to the right kind of a cave, you'll get layers out of stalactites and stalagmites, again, annual records. And I need to stress the fact that it's sort of a wonderful time for me to be watching this science evolve, because we're taking records from such things as coral, tree rings, ice cores, lake sediments, from completely different areas. We're getting evidence or data sets from the bottom of the ocean, from the mountain glaciers, from the polar glaciers, from the caves in China, caves in Spain, and they're telling us the same thing. Key point, the data sets are vast and huge. They're being collected from many disparate places, and they're telling us the same thing. What do they tell us? They tell us the history of climate change through time. This is just